Hey, well, hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartree here today with another episode of Presenting Champions, and I'm joined by a very special fighter today. Today it is Jason Lewis, who is a bare knuckle pit fighter for Spartan. Many people will know with Spartan that it is one of the most brutal forms of combat anywhere in the world. Smallest arena in combat sports, takes absolute balls of steel to get in there. And Jason is not only fights there, but thrives there. As I've already mentioned, a very, very successful fighter. So today we're going to be talking about his journey, what got him into combat sports, everything about Spartan, everything about bare knuckle, and a little bit about the mindset that it takes to compete at such a high level in one of the world's toughest sports as well. So everybody stay tuned. And Champ, thank you so much for coming on the show, mate. It's an absolute pleasure.
Hiya, you all right, yeah?
Yeah, doing
Good
great.
to see you.
Good to see you as well, mate. And you know something, I've wanted to have you on the show for a long time. So I'm glad that we've finally got here, basically. That's all I
Yeah,
can.
it's been a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a long time coming in all fairness, but
Yeah.
we finally got there. So I guess the place to start with you is the beginning. Now, I don't always go back to the beginning with every guest, but today I think we will start there. So let's start with where you were born, where you grew up, and a little bit about what your early life was like, please.
Well, I grew up in Chester, in Blacon, a council estate in Blacon. It's pretty all right. Fight your way through life, basically. It's normal estate still. That's the way it is, it's the way it's been, and it's the way I got into fighting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, let's get into it with your interest in fighting. Obviously, I guess based on what you're saying there, it started on the street, but did you ever
Yeah.
have any ambitions at that time of doing anything professionally like you're doing now, or at the time was that never really on your mind type of thing?
No, I was just always fighting gangs, like, say, for instance, Lakes versus Blacon or something at the fair, and that's how it just grew, and I just liked fighting. And it just grew and grew and grew, and ended up being a football hooligan at Chester and stuff like that for Chester FC many years ago. Grew from there, and had an altercation one day in a pub, and my nan said, I think you should join boxing or something. So that's when I joined boxing. Didn't really like it. Went to MMA, loved it, and then but it wasn't enough. Joined Spartan Bare Knuckle Fight Club, and that was it. I'm in my element. Love
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in, but I was just going to say, yeah, you found your niche and everything. I mean, you really
Yeah.
found your area. So yeah, so just to touch on it quickly before we obviously delve into everything with Spartan, when you were doing like the boxing and MMA and stuff, was it like mainly the sparring side of things and like that, or were you actually competing in that at a point
No,
in
it
time?
was just training, just
Yeah.
weren't competing or nothing, just learning the way, really, if that makes sense. But wasn't quick enough. I was just like a brawler, if that makes sense. Just techniques. Not for me, as you can see the gym behind me. It's the size of a pit. It's the way I deal with it. So it's just the way it is. No running away.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. So yeah, getting into it with them. So obviously, how did you first hear about them then with Spartan? Where did you first see it and everything?
Me teammate Marty Barnes, you might remember him, everyone might know him, but he got me into it. And as soon as he got me into it, that was it. That was it. No looking back. And then I met the boss, Christian, and he's a good friend, a good fight manager. So brilliant.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I've got massive respect for that because, like I said at the beginning, I mean, it takes balls of steel to get in the pit because it's not like anything else. It's faster, it's more brutal, and I love how you just well, you basically jumped in the deep end, really. I mean, that's the way I
Into
can
the
put it.
lion's den, isn't it? Straight in.
Yeah, fair play to you. So, all right then. So, let's walk through some of your fights and some of your highlights and everything like that. First of all, how many fights have you had with Spartan altogether?
I've had there's Reese Jones, Reese Roadhouse, sorry. I've fought him twice. There's been Jimmy Buckley, there's been Corey Edgar. I think it's 6, I think. Won 3 and lost 3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 1 3, lost 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we are. Yeah, I think I had
I've
all.
lost 2 by my nemesis, Reese Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Good pal of mine, like. We
Yeah.
just fight. I think we fight the same, and we can read each other too well. And it's just he gets me, and it's one of them, it catches me out.
Yeah, and it does happen that way sometimes.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You always get a nemesis in fighting.
You do. You
That's,
always got to have a
yeah,
rival. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, big time. We can bring out the best in each other as well. So,
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it can
yeah.
actually be a good thing. So okay, so going back to your first one then, I'm curious about this now. So obviously you signed up and you've gone through the process and whatever. Your first one, expectations versus reality. What I mean by that is obviously going into it, you thought it would be one way when you got there. And I've heard a few people, by the way, because I've had loads of Spartan lads on the show. I think over 20 fighters from there have been on this show. It's not the only thing I do. I do all the MMA guys and boxing and everything, but Spartan, I love it. But they've said, quite a few of them, that they went in there and they expected it to be one way, but obviously it's a lot faster. It's a lot, it's just different, but good, but different. So in your
Yeah.
own words, what was that process like for you, type of thing?
Well, when when I got in there, it was all adrenaline, and as soon as it started going, I couldn't get my footwork because it was with Reese Roadhouse. Couldn't get my footwork, kept on healing the bales. No excuses, he won me that was just a whole learning curve for me, but at the same time, I loved it and I wanted more. So I just haven't looked back since. That was my first ever foot in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of like how fast it goes when you're actually in there, because obviously you watch the fights and it is faster than I think anything else you see in fight sports, in combat sports, but when you're in there, how fast does it feel like it's going?
Very fast, but it's slow motion, if that makes sense. It's fast, it's all happening fast, but if my first one was like, I was punching, but my punches seemed to be going back dead slow. But I was looking at the videos back and they were going. So it just, I don't know, it was just mad. It was mad, but I wanted to correct that. So then I think it was Corey Edgar, my next one, but I went into a coma before that. For 3.5 weeks and come out, got all the all clear and went and had a fight with Corey Edgar and won Corey Edgar straight
Yeah.
out the coma. And that was like, got me footwork and I just loved it even more. So,
So yeah, that's a good point because I was going to ask you about that because I've seen the photos of you in like a hospital bed type of thing shared somewhere in a group, or I don't know. I've seen something to do with it. But what actually happened in that situation? Because I don't personally don't know the story behind it, if you don't
well,
mind.
it was encephalitis. It but I got hit on the back of the head 10 years ago or so. And I found out when I woke up that it was that's like give a slow puncture into my brain, or like basically a slow puncture with blood into my brain or air or whatever it was. And it caused a virus and it went straight to my brain. So I kept on having seizures then. So then they put me in a coma for 3.5 weeks, woke up, tracheotomy, had all that like, so kept on talking to them, the pink bung kept on coming out. It was mad. And then got the all clear to fight Corey, and that was amazing, but it was nothing to do with fighting, which everyone thought it was. It was mad. It was madness, like. I was having dinner at my mum's, went to the toilet. That was it. Woke up 3 weeks later.
Wow. And I don't know if you can tell a story about this or not, but when you got hit on the back there, was that to do with like the football type stuff back in the day? Was it, or was it like in the initial injury that?
A park, like walking through it. I was walking through the lakes or something. Like I'm from Blake, and we didn't get on back in the day. And I was walking through there, got hit on the head with an hammer, on the back of the head with an hammer. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Bloody hell, that's heavy duty, that is.
yeah.
I, I don't want to veer. I don't want to go off on a tangent with this because we'll come back to Spartan now. But
Yeah.
okay, you got it on Edward Hammer, and then what happened after that?
It didn't knock me out or nothing. It didn't knock me out or nothing. I chased him and I just had to fight with him.
Yeah,
So, but I just had to go and have stitches. But that they did say at the time it could affect you later on in life, like because it's about that big, the scar on the back of my head. Like.
yeah,
So, yeah.
bloody hell. Well, I tell you what, then. I mean, getting it with, I mean, in the pit, obviously, sometimes you've got to take a few to get a few, and there's some
Yeah,
blunt force trauma in there, but nothing compared to a hammer in there. I mean,
yeah, I know.
the punch is probably tame.
That's it.
Yeah.
Compared going into the pits, nothing compared to being in a coma or things. It's one of them, isn't it? It's day to day.
Yeah.
You fight every day of your life, working, whatever. You fight either way every day, don't you? So
Well, that's it. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's the way it goes. Absolutely. But what was I going to say about it? But yeah, but that is the thing with Spartan, though, isn't it? Is you do have to take a few shots to land a few shots to get close to him. Am I correct in
yeah, of course. Sorry about that. It's the roof. It's the me roof with the
oh,
wind.
that's cool. That's all good.
Yeah,
Uh,
you have to take a few to land a few because some techniques where they tire them out. You'll let them come to you first. But I don't normally work like that. It depends on how you upset fighting or how they fight. You know, they might be a counter or so you don't know. But
yeah.
people change the techniques every time, don't they?
Well, they do, of course they do. Yeah, keep on top of it. But it is something about it that I think I got a lot of respect for personally, because obviously you have to be tough because you have to take a few shots, and I've seen guys really. I mean, they look like they've had their bell rung, but they're still coming back with some more shots. So you have to have that toughness as well as a skill to hit. So it's just something I got a lot of respect for. So all right then. So so we started off with the first one, coming out with a coma, Corey. Let keep walking us through the fights from there. Just the stories. We need to give them a
I
mention.
think it was Jimmy Buckley then, I think. No, I think it was Reese Roadhouse again. Either way, I think it was Reese Roadhouse again. I lost again. Then it was Jimmy Buckley. Reese caught me perfect with a perler on the temple and ready to go, but my eye was that way. It was one of them. Jimmy Buckley, the same thing. He caught me right behind the ear, and my eye was just like someone had put their hand over my eye, but it was still going, ready to go, as you can see on the videos. Still ready to go, but the ref said, your eyes that way. So that's why I couldn't see, you know what I mean, because it was that way. So yeah, that was Jimmy Buckley. Went to my last fight, and he never turned up. My last fight, last month, he never turned up.
Yeah.
So
Well, it does happen. I have heard of that happening. I mean, how it goes. People say they want to be Spartans, but then obviously when it comes
Munster boys, they called.
uh, yeah, that's it. You do get a few of those in,
Yeah,
well, in everything, unfortunately, but especially with like what you're doing. And becoming a champion as well.
I haven't become a champion yet. This is my next fight, I reckon.
Oh, right. Sorry, that's my mistake then. I
No,
was
yeah, it's fine.
yeah. A champion without the belt then, because I mean you've been in there with some tough guys.
Yeah.
Talk about this next one that's coming up then, and that's a big opportunity.
I don't know much about him. I know a little bit. He's good. He has good, runs a gym and all that with his trains kids and all stuff like that. So hands to him, like with my good mate Robbie Adamson. So hands off to him, like he's a good fighter. Yeah, he's going to be a good fighter. It's going to be a good fight, and I know he'll turn up this one. So
Yeah,
that's a bonus. So
yeah. We
see what
also,
happens. See what happens, isn't it?
yeah,
But I'm
absolutely.
ready, trained, I'm in fight camp, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, absolutely. So let's touch on the training a little bit. Now, with this, obviously, I don't want you to give anything away that people could use, like your opponent. So, bear that in mind. But I also think people will be fascinated, not so much for other fighters, but like for the people who attend and the people on the outside to know like how you train and everything. First of all, do you train without gloves or with gloves on?
Train sometimes with gloves or UFC gloves, as you can see behind you up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends how my hands are feeling sometimes, because that's just the way it is sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, fair
So
enough.
I'm either on the spar bar, the heavy bag, or I've got a spar bar in a bag, another bag, so depends which one I'm using. On me spar bar, I'll just use my knuckles. Obviously, when I'm sparring, I'll use gloves. So yeah,
That's cool. That's a good
as
breakdown.
light as possible, really,
Yeah.
on my hands, yeah.
And I've seen you do a bit of road work as well. How many you do like a few miles of that? I'm guessing as well. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
those.
Do road work, yeah. 2 miles, 2 miles a day, 3 miles a day. Sometimes when I'm with my mates, I go to do 6 miles.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm always fit, I'm always active, I'm ready to go. I'll
Yeah.
keep on training until I die, I'm ready to go.
Well, fair play. Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what they say. I mean, they say to train hard and fight easy and everything. And don't get me wrong,
that's it.
I don't think the fights are easy by any means, but it must make them easier.
Oh yeah.
Fitting in there, fitting sharp and in that frame of mind and everything. What was your
Fight camps go a long way. Fight camps are there for a reason because they go a long way,
yeah,
mentally, physically. So,
yeah.
advice to anyone else who wants to join: get your fitness up and your cardio before you ever go to a fight because you'll burn out. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I learned that for my first one and my third one.
Yeah, well, fair play to you, putting the work in behind the scenes and
Yeah,
improving your fight as well. I mean, because sometimes it
yeah,
does happen. You obviously learn from your mistakes. I mean, that's life,
yeah.
And who are you training with then? Because you mentioned Marty at the beginning. Are you training like together with him, or what's the deal with
So I train sometimes with Marty, yeah, and so with my little lad spars on it. He's got his own gloves there, blue gloves up there. He trains with me sometimes. He does his thing, I do my thing. Me and my little lad go through the rounds and sometimes go to the gym and stuff. So, but I don't need a gym to go for a run, and I've got the gym stuff here, so I'm rarely in the gym, but
yeah.
always training.
I love that though, because there are a few lads I spoke to where they're basically training themselves, and I got like mad respect for the discipline of that. To be fair, I mean it's
Yeah.
something you don't hear every day. I love that. So what was the other thing? Oh yeah, mentally as well. Now I know obviously you were saying you're quite low key about the fights, like you fight every day and this and that, and I know obviously you'll fight anyone and you love it, but you are going to war with somebody. So on the build up to it, like a few days out, are you feeling like excited, nervous, like a mix of
Yeah,
emotions?
as the wife would say, I go into like fight mode, so like silent, like yes, yes, no, 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 like sure. She knows when it's fight week because it's fight week. Just silence, preparing mentally, physically, getting your last visit gym in. No, it's all about your last few days. It's all about mentally preparing to go into war, as you just said. So
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I mean, not that I've physically seen you on a build up to a fight, but I can imagine, yeah, you'd be one of those guys that goes like more like you go ice cold, like you're going like calm and everything instead of being
yeah,
like out and all over the place. Yeah, yeah, I get.
I'm just on. It's mad because like on fight day, I'm just don't keep still.
Yeah,
And you can ask anyone that goes to any Spartan fight club. I'm shadow boxing, ready, preparing for my fight all the way through it until my fight. You know what I mean? I'm not on me. I'm not. I don't sit down. I'm keeping myself warm. You know what I mean? Keeping myself loose. If that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it does big time. And who's been because I think with the pit, I mean, a lot of the fights are pretty tough, aren't they? So when I say about toughest fights, I'm not really it's a different than asking this with like something else like boxing or MMA because they do vary. I think most pit fights are tough, but nonetheless, do you have one or maybe more than one that stands out as being the toughest fight you've had?
Yeah, Reese, because it's like fighting myself.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. Because I fought him twice, and he's won me twice, and it's been a good fight all the way, and he's just caught me. But it could have been vice versa, if that makes sense. It could have gone either way, and it's definitely got to be a trilogy. Please, Christian.
yeah, trilogy that would be good. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be. And they're popular as well. All the grudge matches and rubber matches and all this type of stuff. I mean, it is popular like those sorts of rivalries. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He's been my toughest. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fair.
My nemesis.
Your rival, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what about the crowd at a show? Because one of the things I think is really cool is the crowd seems to be like 10 times more involved because obviously they're a lot closer.
Getting dimples because talking about the crowd is wow, amazing. It's if it went for the crowd and the fans, then it'd be a completely different show, I think, because the crowd get in it. They're in with you. They might as well be in the pit with you because if you like having a rest for like in between rounds, you see they're all with the whole crowd's going. You know what I mean? It's like wow, it's the best people that you could be with. Spartan people
Yeah,
on
big-
Spartan Fight Club days. It's the day to remember.
absolutely. I mean, well, I've said this to a lot of guys, including obviously earlier today. I was on with Dan, like I said, and I said to him as well. the brotherhood thing, like the respect between everybody and all that type of stuff is just next level. And it's like it's not just that you'll punch each other's heads in and then go and have a pint or whatever, and there's that respect. But it's like
Family for life, brothers for
yeah,
life. Yeah,
it's deep. It is deep, and
it's a
people have
deep
it.
bond. Yeah,
Yeah.
how else could you be bonded like that?
Wow,
Because you couldn't
that's
do it on the streets, could you? You get arrested. So it's mad. It's madness.
yeah,
There's no
absolutely.
losers in. There's no losers in Spartan brotherhood pit fighting. You're all champions getting in there. You're all warriors getting in there. Simple as that. It's
Yeah,
all. If you lose, it's a learning curve. That's the way I've looked at it. That's the way you can only progress. Because if you dwell on your loss, you're not going to go forward. No.
yeah. Well, I said you either win or you learn. I mean, that's a good way of
You've got to be You've got to be humble in this game. That's it.
absolutely.
It
Yeah.
was, if you've lost, it was their day. If you've won, it's your day. It's go and have a pint. Either way, innit? Simple as that.
Well, yeah, but that's the beauty of it. I mean, like I say, I mean, the brotherhood thing, people having each other's backs as well, because I've seen that a lot, like even on social media, somebody's having a bad day or something, a lot of other fighters will come in and support them. And it comes in different forms, but it's an amazing, absolutely amazing thing. I mean,
Many forms, yes.
yeah,
Many forms.
yeah, electric atmosphere, but it's a lot deeper than that as well. So, but I mean, I think the reason for that is it's like with Spartan is obviously it's pure fighting, so a lot of the bullshit basically is removed from it, like a
Yeah.
lot of politics and people
Yeah.
ducking people and all types of things you have in other things like
Mm.
boxing and that. You don't have any of that with you guys, and I think that people just they got nothing to prove in that way. It's just the best fight the best, and it works itself out. So that's a beautiful thing and a rare thing these days. There's not a lot
Yeah,
of
it is, yeah. Yeah.
because a lot of promotions, they want to protect their key fighters and keep them away from other fighters as long as possible and all this type of thing. Whereas obviously with Spartan, you don't have any of that. You're just the best, just fight the best, and it's as a fight fan and everything, it's a beautiful thing, really. Um, so yeah, June 24th. So obviously you're going to be focused on that, fully focused on that.
Fully
Look
focused,
past
yeah.
that a little bit. I mean, in terms of like your future dreams and goals for where you want to go, I don't know, a bit further until the end of the year or however far forward you want to talk about really, but just in terms of your
I,
future plans.
I want to get my belt first on my next fight, this fight. No disrespect to Dino Hunt. But yeah, I want to get that first. I can't see anything past that at the minute. I just want title, that's it. So when I get my title, I can move forward. As I was saying before, can't move forward until I get what I need. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the
But I'll always be fighting for Spartan. I'll always fight for Spartan. That's it. I won't be leaving Spartan.
fair
So,
play.
yeah.
Well, absolutely. It's a lot of big fights out there for you and big opportunities. So
It's only the beginning for Spartan, and look how big it is already. It's only the beginning.
yeah. Well, I say that to Christian whenever I speak to him, and if I speak to him on the phone or whenever we have a catch up. I mean, the way it's grown in the years it's been going to where you map that forward and where it's going to go
Yeah.
next level. And he's a man of vision. I mean, he's got like big visions for like where I think he's a bit of a genius in the fight game, really, in that way.
He works magic. He works his magic. He really does. He really does. Like
Yeah.
the venue that we're fighting at now is 10 out of 10. Bradford Hotel. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Simple as, you can't fault him. He can only go higher, can't he?
Well, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. The sky's the limit, 100%.
Yeah, that's it.
Um,
Yeah.
and do you have sponsors and any other people?
Yeah. I've got sponsors. There's my sponsors.
Yeah.
There's loads. Feel.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. Well, it's good to you have that support, behind the scenes and everything like that. And it's good to give them a little mention there as well. Anyone else you'd like to thank who's helped you along the way before we wrap this up?
Yeah, big thank you to Christian Roberts. Big thank you to Darren Wilson. And a big thank you to my wife for putting up with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, like I say, I mean, you've been in some cracking fights already, barn burners and everything. But I think the best is yet to come for you, mate. I think your dedication and the focus that you have and everything, and you just got that laser focus on your goals. And like I said, So yeah, the future's bright. So a few more fights down the line after you got the belt and everything. Maybe
Oh wait, defend.
yeah, there you go. And as well, give it, I don't know, give it 2 or 3 fights, something like that, so we have something to talk about. But then you're welcome to come back on here and
Thank you very much.
update everybody, you know. So
Yeah, thank you.
that's something we can do as well. But for now, I just want to thank you for your time and thank you for taking time out of your evening, basically.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure, mate. And I got to say as well, it's a bit of an honor to be the first person to put your story out there as well in this way, you know, because this is obviously your first one. Give yourself a pat on the back because you've done really well with it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because it still takes balls to get on camera and speak about your
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
I'm saying.
I've been ill all day. Good nerves.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you did. Yeah, you did really, really well. And
Yeah.
like I say, I mean, I hope it helps you just continue to get your name out there, get some more exposure out there, and everything, and all that good stuff. So, best of luck, June 24th. Best of luck to everybody on the show as
Thank
well,
you.
because they all deserve the respect for getting in there. And yeah, I'll be cheering for you, mate, and we'll go from there.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.